The Honourable Minister of Municipal Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first I would like to welcome back to this Assembly the Leader of the Official Opposition, as well as the member for Fort Mac Wood Buffalo, who, yeah, we all know. Our hearts continue to go out to both of you and to all the people evacuated by the wildfires and displaced from the comforts of home. Fort McMurray, Anzac, Gregoire Lake Estates, and Fort McMurray First Nation remain under mandatory evacuation orders. We continue to focus on those who are evacuated to ensure they remain safe and have access to the services that they need. We have some welcome news today, Mr. Speaker, that the fire weather is moderate across northern Alberta due to temperature and wind being reduced and increasing humidity. Although fire conditions, however, are no longer extreme, the fire potential remains high. Mr. Speaker, the wildfire in the Fort McMurray area remains out of control, and as two fires have now merged into one, the size is currently estimated at 230,000 hectares. I am told that the fire continues to move towards Saskatchewan, slowly to the south-southeast. The current forecast indicates a high of 11 degrees Celsius today, 40% humidity, and winds will remain a factor at 20 kilometers per hour towards the north. Last night, we had wind gusts at 28 kilometers per hour, which thankfully is the lowest we've seen in a while. Widespread smoke remains a concern, and we are monitoring air quality closely to ensure our first responders are safe. In Fort McMurray, there are more than 700 firefighters bravely battling the blaze, along with 20 helicopters, 27 air tankers, and many pieces of heavy equipment. Mr. Speaker, I continue to urge those evacuees who have not already registered with the Red Cross to do so. People can do this by visiting redcross.ca to register their name and their whereabouts. For those who have already registered but have changed location since registering, I ask that they please call again to ensure that we are updated about their current location. As of this morning, approximately 45,000 households have registered with the Red Cross, for which I am very thankful. Mr. Speaker, this registration process is so important to ensuring we can provide those who are displaced with access to the assistance and services they need. There are currently 12 reception centres open within Alberta, and as always, the best place to go for the most up-to-date information is emergency.alberta.ca, and Albertans can call 310-4455 for information or to have their questions answered as well. As Minister Hoffman updated yesterday, Cabinet authorized $200 million in immediate disaster recovery program funding, and we will revise this number as needed. Our government is providing emergency financial assistance for evacuees in the form of preloaded debit cards. Adults will receive $1,250 and another $500 for every dependent. We are continuing to work hard to begin the distribution of that financial assistance, and that assistance will be available to those who have registered with the Red Cross, and we'll have more details on how that money will be distributed in the coming days. One of our main priorities continues to be to provide evacuees with information as it becomes available. Last night, we held our first town hall meeting over conference call. These calls allow evacuees to hear the latest information on the fire and the services available to them. Participants were able to ask questions of the Premier, myself, and several other experts to ask them directly. Dr. Karen Grimsrud, Alberta's Chief Medical Officer of Health, and Bill Adams with the Insurance Bureau of Canada were also available, along with the Government of Alberta representatives from the Ministry of Human Services, Education, and the Alberta Emergency Management Agency. We had more than 15,000 people, Mr. Speaker, who participated in the call, and many good questions and information was provided. We hold another call tonight and again on Wednesday and Thursday, and hope to resolve some of the issues around questions and concerns and what is unknown for those evacuees. Evacuees should be registered with the Red Cross to ensure that they receive the details of these calls. I want to remind evacuees as well that if they left behind documents such as Alberta driver's licenses or ID cards, New cards can be issued free of charge at a registry agent. As well, Alberta personal health cards can be ordered by calling 310-0000 to get a replacement card. Canada Post is helping reconnect displaced residents with the postal system by registering with their mail forwarding system. By registering, Canada Post will be able to ship mail and parcels to different addresses, as well as reprocess and ship existing mail and parcels. I encourage residents to check online or call Canada Post for more details. Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Premier, myself, and Mayor Melissa Blake were on the ground in Fort McMurray. While there, we were escorted by emergency management experts along with media to inspect the damage firsthand. We saw devastating images that came out of that visit. We've lost about 2,400 structures, but almost 25,000 are intact, for which we are so greatly thankful. However, I know that some evacuees will be getting the news that the places you called home are now gone, and the emotions that come with that, Mr. Speaker, are tremendously deep and challenging. So with that, I want to remind everyone that mental health supports are available to anyone who needs them. Mr. Speaker, another important update for displaced residents with school-age children is information about diploma exams. All students who are registered with the Fort McMurray Public School District, Fort McMurray Roman Catholic School District, École Boreale within the Greater Northern Central Francophone Education Region, and Bill Woodward School in Anzac within the Northland School Division, and are registered in a diploma course and are scheduled to write diploma exams in June 2016, will receive an automatic exemption from the diploma exams. Students may still decide to write their diploma exams if they choose, and where possible, schools will be expected to accommodate those requests. Starting immediately as well, all student loan payments or Alberta Repayment Assistance Plan payments will be automatically deferred for 6 months interest-free for students displaced and affected by the wildfires. Mr. Speaker, I know how hard it is not to know when people want to get home, and they desperately want to get home. And while we do not have a confirmed date for when that can happen, we will have re-entry times available within the next 2 weeks. There's a lot of work to be done before returning to Fort McMurray is safe for people to live again. Damage assessment and the re-establishment of essential services is underway. Emergency services are working tremendously hard around the clock to ensure that the wildfire is no longer a threat, repairing critical infrastructure to a basic level, and securing hazard areas. The re-establishment of local government is also a critical piece of re-entry. I understand it is so difficult to hear it could be some time before you can return home, but the safety of residents remains our top priority. Our government-wide wildfire recovery task force has been established to help with recovery, and this team is working diligently to make the re-entry happen safely and efficiently and as soon as possible. Mr. Speaker, we know that this is a very difficult time for many Albertans, especially given that there are so many unknowns. I want to thank all of the first responders, everyone who has donated time, money, and a variety of services and supplies, and everyone who has offered to help the evacuees. We are here to support you through these difficult times. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.